Happy holidays, Spurs Bros. Episode 11. We got not a lot of basketball to talk about, but we've got two games. We won against the Blazers, lost against the Timberwolves, kind of what we expected here, but neither game really went as we thought it would. The results were there, but we're going to really take a deep dive into the Spurs rotations, how we see the coaching playing out this year. We're getting into a lot of stats, a lot of contract information here. So, not a lot of games that happened over the course of the last week, but a lot of stuff to cover nonetheless. Other than that, Stephon Castle has moved into a clear favorite spot for Rookie of the Year. We're going to look ahead to the next three games, see if we can go unbeaten over the course of the next week. And as Alex said, all we want for Christmas is 3 wins. So hopefully we're coming back to you guys next week at 16 and 13. The other thing that we want for Christmas is a subscription from you guys. So if you're listening on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Give us a shout out on X, on Instagram at Spurs Bros Podcast. Let us know what you think. Tell us what you want to hear. We love talking to you guys. We want to build this thing. Shout out Norway, shout out Brazil. We're growing. We love to see our audience growing. We know there's Spurs fans around the world. We want to reach all of you. So let's get rolling.
Show that again. Show that again. Oh yeah.
Can you see that? Is it
Let's
backwards?
go.
But
First 100 view video. And I recorded
Only
it just
took
for keepsake.
took 2.5 months. Hopefully 1,000 doesn't take 2.5 years.
You never know. It could. Alrighty, Spurs Bros. How are we doing today? We are almost at Christmas break. This is episode 11. Good to have y'all on. We've got a full house again. How are we doing?
doing good, man. Christmas is almost here.
First Christmas Day game in how many years? Shoot, I'm excited.
Been
Yeah.
forever.
Have y'all ever been to a Christmas Day game?
No way.
No. One time I went randomly with my cousin and we played against OKC and we lost pretty bad. It's when they had Russ and KD and I think even Harden.
I was
And
gonna say
it's
I don't
like
even know how many Christmas Day games we've had ever, but I feel like I don't remember any of them being home either.
I was just looking it up. So we're 5-6 all time on
oof,
Christmas Day games. The last one that we played was 2016 against the Bulls.
the
When Derrick
Bulls.
Rose was still on the
Derrick
Bulls. Yeah,
Derrick Rose. Interesting. That's
Um,
an interesting matchup.
yeah.
When was OKC?
So OKC was 2014.
Oh, the
did,
year we won. Okay.
did we play
Well,
Phoenix on
December of
Christmas?
2014, so the year
Oh,
after we won.
the year we lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reagan, did we ever play Phoenix?
The Roger
Uh,
buzzer
Yeah,
beater.
Rod. That was the same. Was that Christmas?
2008.
That had to be like, oh, I don't know. I was eight,
Yeah.
something like that.
2008. Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
Christmas Day
okay. Yeah,
2008.
that's a childhood memory. I remember sitting there on Christmas Day watching Roger Mason hit that game winner last second three in the corner.
Yep.
Yeah, big time. That was a deep pull.
Well, Spurs Bros, enough of that ramble. We are coming at you. Last time we talked to you guys, we had, oh gosh, I forget who we played against last. I think it was against the Pelicans. We won on Sunday, and then we came back and we played against that next Friday against the Portland Trailblazers in Portland. Stu got to see an epic win. Stuart, who, for those who don't know, he lives in Portland.
Good time. Got to see people who probably aren't true fans, probably a bunch of casuals. I mean, it's hard to be a Blazer fan after Dame left, but I had my Keldon jersey on. I was rocking it. You know me, yapping my mouth off. Was not for the first 3.5 quarters, but then I started yapping.
Yep.
Thank goodness we won, and hell of a game.
It was a hell of a game. The Spurs won 118 to 116. We made a huge comeback. I think we were down by 17 pretty late in the
7 minutes
fourth.
left in the game. Yep.
Yeah, 7 minutes left in the game. And it was one of those games, Tim, you've said this before to me. You're watching the game, we're down big, but you still don't feel like we're gonna lose. And that's kind of how I felt. I don't know about y'all, but like I just had this weird feeling. I was like, I still feel like we're not out of it yet. And sure enough, Jeremy Sohan just inserted just oh well, asserted himself. He asserted himself. Sorry, boys, and basically changed the game for us. He had a monster performance. Victor also had a monster performance: 28 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 blocks. Devin Vassell poured in 23 points, 6 boards, and 5 assists as well. So it was interesting because Chris Paul had got ejected from the game as well, so things weren't looking good. And we didn't have Trey Jones either because he's still dealing with that shoulder injury, and Stephon as well with the shoulder injury. So Blake Wesley had to come in and play a lot of minutes. So I'm glad we just pulled it together and narrowly escaped that one.
Yeah, man, that was Friday was actually my birthday. So I was watching the beginning of that game and kind of following along at dinner and stuff, looking at the score. I was like, man, the injuries were just too much to overcome. Remember, I was at the bar. We were down, like you said, it was like 17 or whatever, with like 7 or 8 minutes left, and I kind of checked out. And then like I look up 15 minutes later, there's a minute left and the game's tied or whatever, or we're up a point or we're down a point, whatever it was. And I saw that Devin Vassell turn around at the jumper. I went absolutely nuts. I was like, dang, what a freaking birthday gift. Had a beer right then and there. Saw the W. Clutch free throws by Victor at the end again,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because he hit those two. He had the last 5 points for us against the Pelicans last week, and then he finished this game off as well. So it was an awesome comeback to see. I know it's the Trailblazers. I know they're terrible, like real bad. Scooting out the league, maybe kind of bad. But we overcame the injuries and came back. It was sick.
Yep.
It was something that we've been saying all season. At least I've been saying it, and then we even heard Victor say it in his post-game press conference. But he said he felt like it was a game last year we would not have won. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. We wouldn't have come back from 17 with 8 minutes last year. But
No
we've been
shot.
saying it all season. I literally feel like 7 or 8 of our 13 wins this year, we would not have won them last year at all. So it's
Yep.
great to see that we're not giving up hope. Again, no CP leadership out there, but you can just tell the leaps and bounds we've taken since last year on not quitting and giving up. And that's the coaching staff. That's our new veterans in there instilling that in us that, dude, it's the NBA. It's a game of runs. You're never out of it. And yeah, it's great to see that we didn't give up and just, came back with 7 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, it kind of went the opposite of a lot of games this year where we did get off to a pretty good start, and then the third quarter was just terrible. And Alec said you thought we were never truly out of it. After that third, I didn't think we had
Oh,
enough
wow.
in the fourth, but they stuck with it. Julian was really good. He hit timely threes.
Yep.
And like you said, Jeremy also made a big impact. He kind of had to take over point guard duties like he did last year because all we had was Blake out there. So yeah, really cool fourth quarter, being down 17 at one point, and cool to see Wemby, final possession of the game, not, settling for some terrible
Yes.
shot. He got Jeremy Grant up in the air. I thought it was a foul, but I thought it was kind of minimal contact, and I was like, thank God, Portland. They used their challenge like the previous possession or two previous possessions ago. I was like, thank God they couldn't challenge that. But
Right.
yeah, Victor
Yeah.
went 10 for
Yeah,
10 from the line in that game. So
I thought Wemby kind of leaned under him when Jeremy Grant was coming down. So if it was challenged, I could have definitely seen it flipping to possibly even an offensive foul and they get the last shot. That would have sucked. But yeah,
Totally.
thank God they used that because I do agree. I thought it was like a veteran move to pump fake with last second. They're going to jump.
Yep.
But yeah, I definitely think it was kind of a light call. I think it was a bad move. He should have faced up and then take a dribble one way or another. He shouldn't have
off the shoulder.
All we do is complain that you don't back down someone, then you choose to back down someone with 5 seconds left from the free throw line. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
I don't know, but his pump fake is becoming deadly. I think we talked about this like 2 months ago,
Totally.
like really early stages of our podcast. But he's got this like Manu-esque pump fake where it's going way above his head. He's really selling out on that. He's getting guys to jump. It was the game against the Kings a couple weeks ago where he had two guys fly by him. There's that picture of two guys soaring past. His pump fake, whether it's on the 3-point line, in the mid post, or at the end of the game backing down and in a crowded space, it's becoming really deadly for him. And it's a pretty big weapon that guys are respecting it that much, and he's using it really intelligently.
Yep. And to double click on that, on those last two free throws, Victor Wembanyama, I'm gonna knock on wood, but he is very clutch. I mean, like from the free throw line, he makes a lot of clutch free throws. Even last year in our, very measly 22 wins, he made a lot of late game free throws. I seem to remember, Stu, that game that we went to against the Knicks, that overtime game where we won. He made a lot of really clutch free throws. And what's really interesting about that is I remember hearing some random podcast and they were talking to this guy who wrote a book and he used a ton of AI to do like this massive study on athletes and all these really interesting, comparisons. And one of the things that he said was the taller that you get, like over a certain like height, that like dramatically they become less clutch. And it's just really interesting that
Interesting.
yeah, is I don't know if it's like hand size or just like again the body type or whatever. And Victor doesn't seem to fit that profile. I just wanted to quickly point that out just because he just looks so cool up there, dude. 7'5". He's can palm the ball. It looks like a little mini hoop to him. And
And
he
not even
still
just
has
free throws. I
yeah,
remember last season because they call like clutch points, like in a close game with under 5 minutes left. I remember last season as a rookie, and it was like him, Luca, and maybe Steph or LeBron, but like they were the top three for most of the season in the clutch points, and I was like, that's crazy. So we're giving him the ball, and he's producing in those last 5 minutes of games. It's just crazy.
So I saw the StatMuse put it out there that it's like I think it's Trey Young and somebody else and Wemby, but he's potentially leading the league in fourth quarter free throw percentage. If not, then he's top three, which is awesome. And the other thing that I saw in the game against the Timberwolves, I tried to take a picture of it on the TV during the game, but his free throw percentage has gone up over 9% year to year from his rookie season to this
Jeez.
season. And that's, I believe, the highest increase across the league from last year to this year, and it's one of the highest increases from like rookie to sophomore season and whatever. So he's made a big jump in his free throws overall, but yeah, he's got that clutch gene sinking late fourth quarter. He wants the
yeah,
ball.
yep.
He's not afraid if he gets fouled to go hit those free throws.
And whenever they zoom on in on him, whenever he is shooting free throws, I like he doesn't take a dribble at all. He closes his eyes and he does that big deep breath in, and then he'll spin it, take another breath, and then he'll shoot it. I want to ask him what does he do to get back to center? Because it feels like nothing phases him.
Well, they
He's
talked
phenomenal.
about like how he meditates a lot and like he's very
Ah,
intentional with everything that he does. And I think it's just the way that he thinks and his general like personality, his outlook on things. He's not gonna go all crazy and go to the extremes of anything, so he can find that center real quick. And I think those two big breaths,
right.
he just goes to whatever place that he goes to all the time
Yep.
and locks in. All right, I'm good. I'm in my rhythm. I'm gonna
Goes
knock
to
this
outer
down.
space, bro. He's a fucking
Bad.
alien.
I love it. It's true. Versus Jeremy Sohan, who I don't know if you've seen his. I mean, he's go back to one hand, right? Free throws, but I didn't know that he shot it so quickly. Like I was watching, I think against Timberwolves,
Yeah.
and they'll pass him the ball, and he'll just grab it, turn, and just shoot it real quick. Which
I
even
think
then,
that's yeah.
what's up?
I think
What's
that's
up?
better for a guy like Jeremy. Just
Yeah.
yeah, if he holds
Don't
on
even
long,
think.
Right.
might blow
Just
him off.
just catch it. You get the ball in your hand, perfect, and then go. I can see that, but I can also see that being like a little like too herky jerky in a sense, like late in the game where he's like, he catches it and he goes a little fast. Or I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that Wemby, he's got something going on, and I like his cool, calm, collect.
Did
Focal point
notice
Jeremy
though,
shooting free throws late in the game, or that's
Yeah.
not a good
yeah,
sign for us.
but like with Sohan though too, Alec, I feel like I did notice it against Minnesota more than I've noticed it. He was shooting it super quick. It's
Right.
like you said, it's like catch, turn the ball over, shot. Like
Right.
there's no thought, there's no rhyme, reason, nothing to it. And I I do think it's better as a guy hand up who did not shoot free throws well throughout my career. And that's being nice about it. You don't want to think about it too long because it's a
Right.
mental thing, but at the same time, like you got to find some sort of rhythm. So I hope he doesn't get sped too much up.
And yeah, speaking of that comeback win, we almost pulled off a comeback. Not, I mean, the final score doesn't say that it was almost a comeback, but we were starting to make a run at a comeback against the Minnesota Timberwolves on that Sunday, and we lost 106 to 92, but we were down big and started to make a run toward the late third quarter, fourth quarter, started to do our thing, and game just got lost. I don't know what y'all saw there. I have a couple of things that I wanted to point out, but any first takes from
Well,
y'all there?
the first thing that I saw, you talk about how we went on a run in the third quarter. We did not go on a single run in the first half because, oh my goodness gracious, we could not score the ball. It
Yes.
was sad, dude. It was like the second
Yes.
quarter's almost over. He had like 36 points or something. I'm like, what is this? Like 1990? It
Yep.
was crazy. It was so bad. And like I get that we had a couple injuries that we're getting over, and the Timberwolves have some of the best defenders in the league as a collective team. But like we were okay to start. I even texted you guys like, "Hey, we're off to a good start." But then like Wemby subbed out after 8 minutes, and it was like as soon as that sub out happened, the Timberwolves starting unit stayed out there for, I think, almost the entire first quarter. They had their starting five, and they went to work in those last 4 minutes. I think they built like a 16-point lead to when we went to the bench.
Yep.
So it was, I mean, it was crazy the lack of ability to score from our bench guys and from a couple guys who are getting, more minutes recently with the injuries. And look, I get it's Rudy Gobert, it's Anthony Edwards, it's McDaniels. Like those are three of the best defenders in the league. They're all going to be in contention for all defensive teams. I get it, but oh my God, it was like what is the offense? There wasn't one.
Back to how you said we didn't like even have a run in the first half. So I looked up a little stat today.
Okay.
It was mind-boggling to me.
Stu stats. We'll call
Don't
it
even know
hashtag
if
Stu stats.
Stu stats. Over the last 10 games, I stopped there because my heart was racing. Over the last 10 games in the first half per quarter, so 20 quarters over the last 10 games, first half, we've only won 5 of those quarters. That's awful. 5 out of 20 quarters in the first half. So we are having to come back every single game, boys. And now, I mean, we've been harping on it for the past couple weeks about Wemby getting out in the first quarter, all that. But I mean, then he plays most of the second quarters, or some. But I mean, we're still losing the second quarters too. So we got to change up that first half. Thank goodness we're a way better second half team this year than last year. But it was just an awful stat. I was like, oh my goodness, we are having to come back every game, and eventually we're gonna implode. Like I was thinking, like, thank goodness we're still 500 right now with that stat, being down every single half basically, and having to come back. Yeah, that's tough. We need to. I don't know if it's preparation, mentality, coaching, what it is, but yeah, we need to fix that quick, or
Yeah.
we're not going to be having any sort of
It
postseason.
does need to get fixed. I agree. The other thing, like I kind of went here while you were talking about this because I'm trying to think, okay, what could be causing this? The first thing that goes to my mind is the inconsistency in the lineups, and a lot of that is from the injury bug that we've had.
Yeah.
I mean, because Stephon Castle doesn't have any, eye-popping numbers coming out the gates to start the year. He gets inserted into the starting lineup, and he's now like front runner for Rookie of the Year, which we'll get into in a bit. But then like the Sohan comes back, and we have the Trey Jones injury and the Keldon Johnson injury and all this stuff, and it's like we're playing some bigger teams. So Sohan gets put back into the starting lineup, which moves Castle to the like it's just every game there's somebody out, there's some change to the rotation somewhere. Like guys are earning more minutes, guys are losing minutes, guys are getting injured. Like there's been a real lack of consistency in that lineup. And as a player, it's hard to know like if you don't have that rhythm of okay, I know at this mark I'm going to come out, it's tough to get mentally prepared if you're going in earlier or later. They're professionals, it shouldn't matter, but there is something to that. And I know that that's going to sound like we're contradicting ourselves because we've been asking for the rotation change with Wemby playing longer in the first quarter, but there's still growing pains with
Yes.
that. So it might be just a lineup consistency thing, and until we can get relatively healthy to how we've been all year and find some consistency in the rotations and that works, it might be a continuation of this, and we're gonna keep digging holes, which I don't want to do, but that's the one thing that I'm starting to think of that might be playing into a lot of this.
I think Reagan's right. I think it has a lot to do with lineup changes. I mean, it's basically been the same starting lineup most of the year, but
Yeah.
just it always seems like one or two guys out every game, and that changes second units. And we were kind of late to the joining the 3-point renaissance. We were still shooting a lot of twos, close to the basket stuff. Like we're shooting a ton of threes, and if they're not dropping, I think that's another reason for these slow starts. You look at the 3-point makes for misses every game, or makes versus overall attempts, and it feels like we're in the 40s for attempts every game. Like I haven't looked it up, but I want to see like where we're at league-wise in 3-point attempts per game.
Very interesting. I think those are all really good points. Yeah, Spurs Bros. It was god awful against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We scored 19 points. 19 points after one quarter. That's like as we just said, it's like high school. That's like high school level stuff, middle
Yeah.
school level stuff.
Where there's
It's
10-minute or 8-minute quarters in high school. Yeah.
yeah, right, exactly. It's
Tim,
just
you
not
nailed
good.
it, dude. We're number 7 in the league as far as attempts
Okay. I
from
was
three
looking at
go. Boston's number 1 at 51 per game, and then it's a big drop off down to 43. Chicago in second, but yeah, we're number 7 in the league, grouped up with a team of a bunch of other squads that have honestly more quality 3-point shooters than we do. We're looking at Phoenix, we're looking at Oklahoma City. Golden State is in this cluster with us. Cleveland, Orlando's got some dead eyes. So we're taking those kinds of attempts, but we're not making them at the same clip that those teams are.
Definitely
Yeah, if we're
not.
going to be following those analytics, if that's which is fair, if that's what everyone else is doing, and they're winning, if we're going to be doing that though, then it sucks because now it's in the past. But like, we shouldn't have been drafting freaking Blake Wesley and all these guys who were defense first guards who had no offensive game. So that kind of sucks. But hopefully in the future, I guess we'll see if we're really going to keep following that, what kind of moves we're making, if we're going for pure 3-and-D guys or what. Because you said it, yeah, with the Warriors, they got Buddy Hield, they just got Schroeder the other day. They're getting scorers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll see
And
what we do in the future.
the flip side of this, so we're number 7 in the league in terms of attempts. We are 22nd in the league in terms of percentage at 34%.
No
So
bueno.
you can't have that mix.
Yeah.
Like that's got to, if you're going to shoot that percentage, you got to get some more looks at the basket. You can't just keep shooting and expecting, it's the definition of insanity. So we're not the Celtics, we're not the Warriors,
Right.
we're not the Suns. Those 3 teams are in the top 10. Well, Boston's actually low, but that volume's crazy. But yeah, like the Suns are number 5 in the league, and we're not. That's not us. We don't have that level of quality shooters, that quantity of quality shooters. So
Yeah, that's really
gotta change it
interesting.
up.
Stu, we were talking about this right before we started recording that video that you sent us about, what the league needs to do to change its viewership status. The league viewership's been going down consistently. And it was Colin Coward and Nick Wright talking about it. And one of the things they were talking about that Nick brought up was, maybe change, like go from instead of 2 points to 3 points, go from like 3 points to 4 points. And the reason he said that was because, I mean, Daryl Morey figured this out, which was like, yeah, you get a 50% premium if you make a 3 versus a 2, right? Versus if you go from 3 points to 4 points, that percentage jump is like 33%, like of a premium for making a 3 versus a 2, if that makes sense. I know it's kind of like very heady stuff, but what I'm trying to say is the Spurs organization is like, yeah, we'll just follow what Daryl Morey said, and like we'll just start shooting a bunch of threes because everyone else is doing it. But I think we're all right here. It's like we don't have the
We
guys.
don't have
I mean,
shooters.
we have Harrison Barnes, Victor, he can shoot it. Julian, Chris
Chris
Paul's
Paul.
good in rhythm. Devin, yeah, but
Yeah.
he's not really a sniper. Yeah, well, he can shoot it.
But he's not a
That's
sniper. Yeah.
right. So I mean, beyond that, I mean, Trey Jones has gotten better. Bassie, hell no. Zach, hell no.
Malachi is
Hell
super
no.
streaky.
Malachi is streaky. That's right. But it's always like he's like scores in bunches. He's always like
But he's
he'll
also
score.
basically completely lost his way out of the lineup. So, I mean,
Right.
but that's what I'm saying. If we're going to be doing that, then throw him in there instead of, honestly, like Trey or someone who's not any sort of threat from the 3-point line, if that's
Right.
the way we're going to be playing.
That's what
Or
I was
Mamu
thinking.
in instead of Bassie. Mamu will pull from deep. Bassie's
Yeah.
not any threat on offense. So,
No, those are all really good takes. And one of the things that I saw was an article written by Dusty Garza. Shout out Dusty Garza from the Spurs Report. We see him a lot. He's been very prolific on X, Twitter, but he was quoting Harrison Barnes and what he thought their growing pains, as Reagan alluded to, what they have been. And he's quote unquote, he said Barnes didn't mince words when discussing the Spurs' offensive issues. And he said, we have to be more organized. That's number one. Number two, despite having a clear blueprint for success, the team has often struggled with indecision, which has led to costly turnovers. And he says, quote from Harrison Barnes again, guys have had good intentions. It was just the execution of it. And he goes on to say, facing top tier teams like Minnesota Timberwolves has exposed weaknesses in the team's fabric. Barnes pointed out that the Spurs have been pushed off their spots on the floor, disrupting the offense. We weren't aggressive getting into those positions, miscommunication. And he said, against elite defenses, you have to fight for details, whether it be catching the ball in the right spot or setting screens at the correct angles. And he said they're not doing that well. And that's, I mean, Reagan, that's, shout out back to high school. I mean, that's what my uncle, shout out Coach
Yeah.
Charlie Bogus, he was maniacal about just the little things matter. Maybe that's just things that we haven't even been noticing, not just being fully engaged, rewatching the games back over again. But that's a really interesting point from Harrison Barnes, a vet, true vet in the NBA, saying that kind of thing about our
Yeah,
offense.
that makes me want to really dig into the next game we play and see, and look at those things, and things that you can look at is like he's saying, those entry passes. Are they catching them on or a foot or two off the block, or are they getting pushed 6, 7 feet off the block? Because starting those moves from 17 feet versus 12 feet is a massive, massive difference when you're talking about the kinds of matchups that we're trying to hunt. So if you're Harrison Barnes and you're catching it from 8 feet versus 17, the move you're going to go to, the amount of time that you have, the amount of space you have to work with is completely different. Same thing with Vic. And then it's guys coming off screens. If the pass isn't there on time, that's an extra 2 steps where the guy's coming off, a down screen on the wing, and he's catching it at 32 feet instead of it at 24 or 25 feet. That's a massive difference from where you're engaging these plays. All of these things that we're running is based off of, back cuts and back screens and off ball movement and all this stuff. It's timing. And
Mhm.
if it takes an extra half second for that first pass, it's throwing off everything down the line. That creates confusion, that creates indecision. So that's a really poignant thing that Harrison Barnes is pointing out that I really want to look at in the next couple of games to see if it's something that we're talking about and fixing, or if we're talking about it and continuing to let it happen.
And he, at the end of the article, he did say that once, what we alluded to as well, which was we haven't had our full squad once this whole season, and once we do, we maintain, where we are, we'll be in a good spot, which I do agree with. I know we're all a little upset about these just inconsistent, play starts of the game, but I think it will be really cool to see all of us back. I mean, I miss Trey Jones out there big time.
I was
So,
just gonna say that. That's why I think Trey is so important. I know he not a great three-point shooter. He doesn't even take many, but I think he's really important as just the connector, the leader of that second group. And I think his assist to turnover ratio is awesome. And
yep.
he just doesn't make bad decisions. So, we finally got him back. He was rusty his first few games, and then he went out again. So, yeah, we need him back soon.
Yep.
And the other thing that I just thought about though, like, if we had said 2 months ago that 26 games into the year we'd be right at 500, every single one of us would have signed up for that. And I
Oh
think
yeah.
the reason why we're frustrated and like a little annoyed at some of the stuff that's going on is because we believe actually, like we've seen some stretches, some short stretches from this team, the 4 game win streak we had a couple weeks ago, where it's like we could really have something here with this squad this year. So it's like that desire to keep pushing up and
Mhm.
and and get over 500 and have some more consistency. But we've talked about it before. We'll talk about it again, I'm sure. But having some perspective, we're 26 games into the year, almost a third of the way into the season, and we're 500. We all would have signed up for that in October.
Yeah, look at us. What a world getting to debate and be mad about being 500 right now.
True.
We're all thinking, yeah, we could
Yeah,
easily be 18, have 18 wins, 19 wins, and we'll take 13 and 13. But yeah, how far we've come over the past couple of years. Great.
Fact. That's a fact, man. You can only see the progress whenever you look back and can connect the dots only looking backwards. So as long as we're trending up, that's the important thing. Again, I've said it in the last podcast, the podcast before, which was we do a podcast every single week. And so we're very short-sighted in how we, our emotions, like we're just very raw. And
we're
that not
fans.
yeah, we're fans. That's the other thing. So yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of that in there, just not taking a step back and just, viewing from an aerial view there. But
We're not just fans. We're diehards. We're
we are lifers.
diabolical.
Yeah,
It's
we
Yeah,
are.
that's a
That's true.
fact.
Since
bad.
since birth, baby, since '96.
They control our weekly emotions. That's the
That's
problem.
a fact, dude. We're
Grown
such
men.
fans that we decided to start a freaking show about it.
Yeah.
So,
Kind of last thing I want to wrap up about this Timberwolves game is, it didn't look like I wanted to include this into this talk earlier, but in between the third and fourth quarter, I believe it was, who was that? Who's our sideline reporter? She's been there a couple of games now. I've seen her. Do y'all know who she is? Well, either way, she was saying supposedly it's like us, the Hawks, and a couple other teams that have made multiple, I think 15 plus point comebacks, I guess, in games. And so we were like 6-1 in those games. And so we almost made it happen again. So I was trying to say we didn't. And the other point I wanted to bring up was we might just be overreacting. Some people could say that we were overreacting to this game just because, other than Wemby, who had a good game, 20 points, and Jeremy, who had a monster game, 17 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, and 2 steals. Other than those guys, listen to this. Chris Paul didn't score 1 point in 30 minutes. Devin Vassell had 4 points in 25 minutes. Stephon, he came back from injury. So as you pointed out over our group text, Reagan, that he kind of felt a little timid out there, which I
Mhm.
completely get. And so maybe shot was off, shot timing was off, whatever it was, and he wasn't getting calls. That's another thing we can go into. He had, let's see, what is it? He only scored 2 points in 23 minutes. I mean, that's not good as well. I mean, between those three guys, you got whatever it was, 5, 7 points. That's
Yeah.
that's no bueno. I mean, we're not going to win any games like
Hour
that.
of basketball between them three and not putting up
Right.
any points.
Exactly.
Not
So
gonna win. Yep.
just want to wrap that up there. So what I wanted to kind of get into next is, speaking of a fellow Spurs Bro listener, we did get some engagement on, I think it was our last podcast, and I
So
forget the
10, yeah.
episode 10. I forget the guy.
Jacques BOF 5726.
All right. He had some good insight. Maybe Reagan, you can read the quote.
This part, he said the Spurs lack a top-level third man who averages over 20 points. Wemby, Castle with DeJounte averaging 22 points would have been perfect. A profile like DeJounte is a mix between the two, especially when Wemby takes a break, as the championship is long and intense. Wemby is more pleasant and spectacular to watch than the other players. He looks like a big bird on the track.
So I gotta
So
quote
that was
that.
Jacques.
I've got to put that last sentence right somewhere. That's got to go somewhere. Or it looks like a big bird on the track, not even on the court.
I don't know what the hell that means, but okay,
But hey,
Jacques.
but we got you, Jack. I understood the sentiment. But either way, who is the perfect third option for a championship team? I responded to him and I said I don't think DJ would be it, for many reasons. But who would be a perfect third option for our championship team? What qualities do they have? And are they already on the team? Like, is Devin
I
Vassell, could he be a third
Yeah,
option?
I think we kind of talked about this after Jacques commented on episode 10, but I was like, Devin might be that guy, but I don't know that he's the top flight scorer that we like need to make that bump into championship contention.
Okay.
I think that's the kind of style player we want for that role, but if he's really going to be that second or third option every single night for a championship winning team, I don't know if I'm confident in that yet. I love you, Devin, but I don't know if I'm confident in that yet.
Okay.
I agree with Reagan. I would love it for it to be Devin, obviously. I don't think he's there yet. And I don't know why he's still on a minutes restriction, but he needs to get back to like a full workload every game.
24.
I don't know.
Come
You
on.
look at like Boston, like who's their third guy? I mean, it's like a mix between D. White,
Kristaps.
Porzingis, Drew Holiday. So
Drew.
I don't
Yeah.
know if
Yeah.
the number three guy is super important to like just have that bona fide third guy.
Hmm.
But I think we just got to keep just improving the team. Like I don't know, 1 through 5. Bench obviously matters too.
Right.
Although bench doesn't matter that much for the Celtics, even though Pritchard might be sixth man of the year. But
He's going crazy.
Yeah,
Did
man,
y'all
just
see?
options. We just need more options. That
Yeah.
if Devin doesn't do it, then yeah, we don't have anyone else. I mean, I know Keldon's out right now, but Keldon can't be the third best player on a championship team either. Like
Tim makes a
yeah,
good
I
point.
don't know.
Yeah, and so does Stuart. But like what Jacques may not know, and what I didn't think to mention until just now, is the way that the new CBA is structured. The era of having a big three,
Hmm.
where you have those three, 20 to 25 point scorers, those three all NBA type guys, is so much harder to accomplish in today's
Right.
NBA because that's why Pascal Siakam left Toronto to go to Indiana because the money wasn't that different, and he actually it was tough for Toronto to be able to give him that money in their market with the amount of guys that they also had to pay. So the way that it's structured, you can have two of those guys, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, Kyrie and Luka. But to have a third one at that caliber that you're going to have to pay max or super max money, it's not really feasible in today's NBA anymore unless you're then going to have 11 players signed to vet minimums. It's not going to work. So
Right.
I
I was
think
gonna
it
say,
is
yeah.
finding more, like Stuart saying, it's that number depth of options. And how Tim said, like, it's maybe not about having just the third guy. Like, it's options, it's depth.
Yeah,
Interesting.
today it's like Phoenix is the closest thing to a super team that we have, and you saw it wasn't successful at all last year. This year, I mean, they're not top seed or anything, so we'll see how they do in the
Yeah.
playoffs. But yeah, just because they have their three main guys, and then who do they have after that? They have like Tyus Jones.
Tyus
He signed for
Jones
super cheap though. He could have gone way more money somewhere. He went there to win. But and then yeah,
and
off their bench they
Nurkic.
have like Grayson
Yeah.
Allen's their best like bench guy. Like so they're sacrificing team ball for those three guys. And on any given night when one of those three guys doesn't show up, they're not worth a damn. So I think
Mm,
yeah, we're trying to follow the Celtics and
right.
have a bunch of just solid dudes.
Right. And that's it really interesting that y'all brought that up. That's a good perspective, guys. And the thing that I think about is it is possible to have that, but you need somebody on a rookie deal having a crazy year. They made a big leap early, so they're still like on a rookie deal. The people that I think about is Denver. I mean, they won. They had a lot of guys, but then they had to go sign whatever his name, Michael Porter Jr. He wanted his money. He
Yeah.
got
Which forced KCP to have to walk this past
get
summer
out.
with the new CBA.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. They made that Michael
And they
Porter.
lost Bruce Brown. They
Right.
lost
Yep. For the same
KCP.
reason.
They lost
They
Jeff
signed
Green. They
Michael
had to give
Porter to
up
that
their depth.
extension on the old CBA. The
Mhm.
new one was negotiated. They lost Bruce Brown right after they won the championship, and then they lost KCP. The team now is completely different. They're relying on Christian Brown, Peyton Watson,
Yep.
and another kind of unknown. I forget the third one's name, but these unproven dudes when they've got their core three. But like you're saying, Stuart, like if one of them goes down or one of them doesn't show up, it's impossible. Jamal Murray's not playing like Jamal Murray the last 10 games, and Denver looks kind of lost at
Hmm.
times.
And he's still on a
They're
max contract for multiple
yeah,
years.
yeah. So until
That's why
that contract
contracts
gets
matters.
restructured, yeah,
Yep.
you can't team build anymore the same way.
Which is
Wow.
also why I feel like we've been so deliberate and so cautious. Because in
Yes.
today's, you keep hearing all over ESPN and you see on next one contract, one effed up contract, and that destroys your team for 3-4 years if
Yep.
you pay someone too much and then they don't produce, which we're seeing with MPJ and
And
Jamal
on a
Murray.
smaller
So
scale, we're seeing it with Zach Collins.
Right.
I don't want to
Yes.
say I was trying to keep his name out of this episode, but yes,
It's
I wouldn't say
impossible.
he's our total. Yeah, he's definitely our worst contract on the team, but he's not like
Yeah.
the reason why we're
Yeah, he's
13.
not a max guy that's preventing another all-star
But
from
we could
joining.
definitely
Yeah.
have a 15 million year man who could do way more for the team than he's doing.
Yep.
Yeah, facts.
Right. But and then on the other side of that coin is that you do have to spend a certain amount of it, right? So you do so
Yep,
there's an interesting
90%
balance.
of
Yeah,
the cap.
90%.
Yeah.
So and if you're a small market team like us, it's like, okay, so who do you overpay a little bit just to maybe make a better bid, right? So like there's a lot of nuances in there. But I mean, I guess it all started with Tim. Great point, Tim, of maybe I'm looking at it all wrong, right? Like who's our big three? Who would be a best, third guy, right? I keep obviously I think about our big three. Even though our guys, Manu and Tony, they gave up money. I think they all gave up money
Yeah,
to
So
be
did
able
Tim.
to
Yeah.
keep the whole squad together. But yeah, I was thinking about other quote unquote big threes like the boys in Miami and whatnot. So maybe
yeah,
that's just no longer feasible. Maybe that's just team ball, being solid on all fronts, very versatile. I mean, that is sort of the direction we're going, right? Everyone's able to switch, play D.
Positionless basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't,
for
Yeah.
what
The
it's
way
worth, I do feel like our boys on the team right now, we do have some guys who would give up money to keep their friend around and who's a winner,
yeah,
with how much
yeah.
money Wemby's going to make and not, he'll get his first contract extension. He'll be the highest paid player in the NBA, but maybe once that's up 6 years after that, when he's like 30, 31, instead of taking another super crazy max, he might take off a little 10, 15 mil a year, which sounds crazy to us, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not that much for him. And if we could keep around, Stephon or some other guy on our team by then, I think we have those guys at heart and who just want to
Yeah,
win and ball and
Yeah.
not LeBron who wouldn't
that's
cut. Oh no, LeBron did cut like 500K off his contract, but that's why they didn't get anyone in the summer. So,
Yeah,
you know,
49
yeah.
million instead
That's
of 50.
that's the what's ingrained into the Spurs culture over the
yeah,
last 25 years with Pop at the helm. So that's a part of who we are, and we have those guys, Manu, Tim, Tony, still come around, still talk to our players, still have that influence, and
Yep.
everybody knows the example there. So yeah,
Yeah.
you'd hope that when it comes time to pay these top flight guys, which is probably going to be Castle and Wemby, that they're going to take a page out of the old guard's book and understand that, hey, you're still going to get paid 200 million. What's 190 million to have an
yeah.
extra support staff and make your life a little bit easier?
Especially
Totally.
when you be on a winning team instead of going to a big market team like the Knicks and
Right.
or Lakers, and don't win, but you get paid a little more money.
Right.
Yeah.
But I
Not
mean,
worth it.
net with taxes and all that, who knows,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Also, Texas
Yeah.
is the best place. Yeah, Texas and Florida are the best place. So it is what it
and
is.
and guys like Wemby, I mean, I mean, specifically, I mean, he's got Louis Vuitton and probably gonna have a
That's
lifetime
that's what
Nike
I'm
deal.
saying.
Like
Nike,
he's gonna
yeah.
have
So
He's fine.
unlimited amounts of money and he's gonna have free gear, free everything thrown his way. He's gonna be like, he's gonna be
yeah.
fine. And I know he's
Again,
about winning.
he'll rightfully take his super mega max in a
Yeah,
couple of years that he's
yeah.
that he's due. But I'm saying that next one, usually
The
what
third contract.
two or three, yeah, good contracts in their career. I'm talking the second or third. If we just won a championship or two and we're going to lose a vital part of our team, hey Wimby, let's go have a
Work
talk.
with us. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to stay on this for a second because I know we have a couple guys this summer who are gonna who are free agents, and
Mhm.
Tim just was talking very highly of Trey earlier, and I know he's a free agent this summer. I had a super, I don't know if it's a crazy take coming into this. I was literally thinking about today because I thought Blake played great on Friday. What do y'all think? Crazy for me to say. I could see us not. I don't know. Trey might be getting 15 to 20 this summer. What if we just keep Blake for super cheap? I feel like Blake has a higher ceiling than Trey. Blake is making way better strides than Trey is, I think. Trey is
Uh,
way more, like Tim said, keeps the offense going and way more connective. But if Blake just gets that mindset and can learn to slow down, and that just comes with playing time as well. Trey's had way more of that than Blake. I don't know. I was thinking about today. I was like, dude, I kind of like Blake. I could maybe see us not re-signing Trey and going with Blake.
all right. Well, I guess it depends. Like, what problem are we solving, right? Like, we got like so. Trey, I love Trey, man. I love Trey. He's like
I do too. Trust me.
he's like the
Yeah.
last of a dying breed. And what I mean by that is like true point guard,
Him and his
Yep.
PG.
brother and Chris Paul.
Doesn't dude, I remember
Yeah.
Tyus Jones. He was in our class in 2014. I remember like watching him play. And I was like, that guy is insanely good. But not because he was just scoring 30 a game in these AAU games. It was because like he never turned the ball over. He made open shots. He was the most conditioned guy on the floor. Hard-nosed defense. He did all of he communicated well. Like he did all of the things a quintessential point guard should do. And I think Trey was definitely, a product of that as well. And so I love that. Obviously he's undersized, so he may get bodied and mismatches and stuff that might hurt in some offenses or in some lineups, but I just love him so much. I would pay a little extra to keep him around just because he's also seems like a good guy. And Blake seems he's still a little erratic. I mean, he's getting there. He's definitely honing it in, and his motor is absolutely crazy. He'll get a stop, a steal, layup, dish, like so he there's that there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like
I
his
can't give up
his
on Trey.
intangibles are unmatched. You can't match athleticism and quickness. Like that's
Right.
just something you can't
He
teach. And
does
he
have
he is
different
always the
speed.
quickest and fastest guy on the floor. He's the quickest
Trey's
first
quick
step.
too, though.
He
Like
is, but
he
Blake is
can
a
get by
freaking
guys,
track
but
star on
Blake
the
is,
court
yeah,
compared to
yeah.
it's crazy.
So Trey is an unrestricted free agent after this season, and Wesley is a restricted free agent after next season.
Okay.
So we've still got him under contract next year. That's Wesley, and then the year after that, he could become a restricted free agent, which gives us the option to match. But either way, like I think Trey is somebody that we need to do everything we can to re-sign, facilitate the bench scoring and system. And if it becomes that he's a trade piece because he's signed to a great contract around 14 million or something, that's a hell of a piece that we can go. But
I
he's
don't
at
think we're getting him for
9.1
14.
now. I mean,
I
Tim, what do you think?
maybe
Yeah,
I'm
this
wrong. I
is right
think
up
you
your alley, Tim.
overrating how much he's going to get in free agency. He's making 10 right. Did you Tyus, his brother, probably better than he is. Did
Yeah.
you see the contract he got with Phoenix? Now, it might be
He
a
took a big pay cut.
he
prove it
took a hit.
contract, I
Yeah,
guess, but
yeah.
they
He
got him
took a
for
cut.
1 year, like 3 million. Like, I don't think Trey's getting 15 mil a year. And
Dude, I think Trey's going to get like 20.
20.
At least
Yes.
that.
20.
But I
I
could
mean,
see
Today's
14,
NBA,
15.
dog.
no.
Dude, I was just looking at this afternoon though. With Tyus, it specifically said he took a minimum contract for a 1 year deal to go prove
Yeah.
it, and his stats have gone way up this year. The way that he's handling that team, they're expecting him to be a big target in free agency this upcoming year. So he'll probably go sign like a 3 year deal to make 15 plus a year, a Zach Collins contract. Like if Zach Collins goes, can we not pay Trey Jones a Zach Collins contract? I don't know. Like that's locking him into our backup point guard for the next 3 years. But if Trey Jones is our backup point guard for the next 3 years, who's upset about that? Alec, like you're talking about, he is a true point guard.
And Blake, I like the strides he's been making. It looks like the game's slowing for him down, or the game's slowing down for him a little bit. But he'll have some nice finishes, but when he does finish, I feel like it's not contested. When it's contested, I still don't think he's a great finisher. And he hasn't proven that he can shoot it yet either. I know Trey doesn't shoot it very well either, but I still would love to have Trey back. And Blake, like you said, we still have him for next year. If he proves himself even more next year, then we'll see then, I guess. But
Yeah. Yeah. We got a year to wait on Blake.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious on what y'all thought about Trey for
Yeah.
that because Trey and Chris Paul are this summer, so we'll see who we draft if we take another point guard. That
Yeah.
could be a sign. Hey, bye Trey or Blake, someone, because we don't need all that. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
I gotta say it while I'm on this contract page on Spotrac. Julian Champagnie, man, 3 million this year, 3 million next year, 3 million the year after that as a restricted free
Absolute
agent. So
steal.
we've got him at maybe one of the most team-friendly contracts in the
Yeah.
league for the next 2 years.
For sure.
huge.
Yeah.
For sure. That was great foresight by the
The
boys.
starter on that contract. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
He's
That's
gonna
unreal.
get paid after that though.
Yeah. I hope
If he keeps
Wemby
this
gives
up.
him a little something like if he, if we ever make the playoffs or something, man, just be like, hey, you can have a
Give him a little
mil.
watch.
Yeah, something. Exactly.
Let's go win the
Because-
NBA Cup next year. Get him $500,000.
There you go.
Usually there's some something in the contract written up for like if you put up some amount of points or
Incentives,
some
yeah.
contingencies where you'll get paid a little more or something.
Remember in the offseason, like, weren't we possibly going to lose him if Harrison didn't waive his trade kicker or whatever?
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
what might have
Point. I forgot about that too. Yeah, and obviously Harrison's just class act. So good thing we avoided that.
I wanted to bring up something random from when we were talking about the third guy stuff and just like another good solid piece to have on the team. But you remember a couple years ago we were interested in Austin Reeves, and for whatever reason I guess we didn't even really offer him a contract. So the Lakers just kind of stole him and brought him back for 13 million a year. Like, man, that'd be I would have loved like to have Austin Reeves for 13 million a year instead of Zach. Like, oh man.
That
Yeah.
would be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an extra 3 or 4 wins right there, I think, already.
Would
Like-
y'all take Reeves over Trey?
Probably. Just because he's just as a
I
scorer,
would.
I think so. But
But if it comes down to it, like pick one, probably taking Reeves.
yeah.
No, it's not crazy to deny him. He's
Yeah.
good. He's super good. Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
very
he's
good.
a hooper.
Athletic. He's a
He's
good
a
shooter.
hooper.
Yeah. I mean, he might be a little bit of a liability on D, but if his offense makes up for it, and
Our last couple things I wanted to get into was a statement. We got a statement from Pop on his recovery, which was really encouraging to see. Doesn't seem like that he'll be back anytime soon, but that's probably not news to anybody. But this was the official statement from San Antonio Spurs head coach Greg Popovich. He said, quote, "This has certainly been an unexpected 6 weeks for my family and me. As we work together on my recovery, I wanted to take a moment to share that the outpouring of support we received during this time has been truly overwhelming in the best possible way. While I wish I could get back to each one of you, for now, let me say that my family and I are forever grateful. We're thankful for our wonderful community, the entire Spurs organization, and our family and friends. No one is more excited to see me return to the bench than the talented individuals who have been leading my rehabilitation process. They've quickly learned that I'm less than coachable." So that was him. Had a little humor in there. I don't know if he had
Yeah.
anything to say about that, like if he actually wrote that up or what, but that's just really cool. I hope obviously prayers up still for Coach
What's
Pop.
up?
Yeah.
Always.
Yep.
Yeah. Would
So
love, I just, whether he comes back or not, I just hope that he's going to continue to make some sort of recovery and continue to be here and live a good, productive life. Because I think at the end of the day, this world is a better place with him in it. The amount of
yep.
people that he has the ability to reach and affect is basically limitless. So whether, like I said, whether he comes back to coach or not, just prayers up for him. Hope he gets better and can come back to make some sort of an impact in whatever way he wants.
I had a thought on this, which was if, we are 500 right now, but if we get to April and we are in the playoffs, what happens if he wants to come back, after that? Does like what
Bring him
like
back
bring him back and then Mitch
immediately.
leaves? What happens to Mitch? Is he gone? He's like, guys, I
Well,
basically led us
that's
to
what
a
I
playoffs.
texted y'all after his statement the other day, and I was like, I feel like the longer he goes this season without coming back, the harder it will be to come back because that just I don't know. Does
Right.
that throw off our team chemistry? And like I said, I feel like the longer it goes, it's more of Mitch's team for this season.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, that's what I said. I don't want to speculate a ton, but if for this one scenario, my opinion, like if we get to April and it's playoffs and Pop says he's ready to make a comeback, put him on the bench, bro. Like I want Pop on the bench if he's available to coach. Mitch, wonderful job. You got us to the playoffs. You're about to go get a bag and be a head coach next year somewhere else or with us, like whatever the scenario is. But if Pop is available and healthy and willing to be our head coach, I want him on the bench leading the group,
Yeah, in a
especially in the
playoff
playoffs.
series. Yeah, exactly. A series when it comes down so much to coaching and making moves throughout the series. I mean, yeah, he's
Yeah,
unmatched, obviously.
yeah. But it's a lot of stuff before we get there. And again, it's just about him being healthy and
Of
happy
course.
as a human first. Yeah.
Of course. One last thing though on that is, and this is apples to oranges comparison here, but I kind of think about it a little bit of LeBron, and he's older, and the Lakers don't have a succession plan, right? Basically, after LeBron, their whole thing is like, all right, we're going to build around. They gave up all their picks. They don't have any draft assets. They got Anthony Davis, who's he's hurt, and then they got random dudes who are inconsistent. But they like their future plan is just to like, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll go get
Keep
somebody in free
trade.
agency because we're the
Yeah.
Lakers or whatever. But I'm thinking about us and the Spurs. What if play that out a little bit? If Pop does come back. We get to the playoffs. Pop does come back. Mitch leaves, and Pop is only available and or healthy for another year or two. Then what? Like who's lined up? Like do we want like what's his name? Who's on the bench? Brown. He's
Brett Brown.
Brett Brown. Like he can't.
No.
He can't be
I don't
our
think he's
successor.
our future. Yeah.
So, like, do we have anybody else lined? Like, can we afford to lose Mitch at this point, given the fact of all of his corporate knowledge and institutional knowledge? And, um,
Yes.
oh, okay, all
I
right.
I'm opinionated on this. I'm discovering this as we go, as you talk about it. But I'm opinionated on this because I'm like, we have Wemby and we have Wemby. And besides that, we have Wemby. So not only are we going to be set up from the player's standpoint, but that's going to attract any coach in the league to come to San Antonio. Just like we were able to go get Harrison, like Chris Paul in free agency, we're going to go get players in free agency because we have Wemby. And we're going to be able to go get any coach that we want because we have Wemby. So I would love for Pop to come back. That's my heart's number one desire. But if we can't get him back on the bench and we lose Mitch in addition to that, whatever. We're gonna go get the best guy. I guarantee you we're gonna be set up well because of the roster that we have.
I
Okay.
agree with that, but I feel like I don't know. We're the Spurs. I feel like we're way more like in-house. We want to have someone who's been in the Spurs organization for 10 years from like a 25 or 30-year-old, like a Mitch who's been, maybe came up through the Austin Spurs. I don't know, who just like knows our organization, know how we roll. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if
I
we'll
mean,
It's
take,
just a
it
thought.
could think of Pop's
yeah,
tree. Like Will Hardy might be done losing in Utah for 3 years while they
yeah,
force him to
facts.
tank. Like we could bring Will Hardy back. Maybe Ime gets tired of the crap that he has to deal with in Houston and that crap hole of an organization there. No respect to Houston. Whatever. Like it could be anybody. Maybe Quinn Snyder is done in Atlanta. Maybe anybody else that's been in the Spurs system before because we've produced a third of the head coaches in the NBA right now want to come back and they want to take over, and we're happy with that. And then they know how it works.
There you go.
That makes sense.
Yeah. No, Reagan probably is right. I think we've gotten a little attached to Mitch. We're rooting for him.
Yeah.
He's started with the Austin Spurs. He's been with us for what, 6 years now. Uh, and I like him. I like his demeanor, his press conferences, but he can get fiery on the sidelines. And it seems like he's a player's coach. I think they really like him. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, Alec, like you said, if Pop did come back and Mitch, maybe gets rubbed the wrong way, yeah, that would suck to lose him after this year, how crazy this year has been.
Right.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
guess we've never cared about all of our other assistant coaches being taken because we still had Pop. But
Right.
now, like Tim, you just said, maybe we're a little more attached because we're seeing him front and center. He's the spokesman of our team, so maybe we would take a little more to heart. But I guess if we had Pop back, I guess it wouldn't matter in the end.
Yeah.
It's just no, I mean, listen, I'm with you, Reagan. I love Pop and I'm a Pop stan till I die for sure. Because of all the things that he brings, the obviously just not even just the X's and O's, but obviously just the off the court stuff, the team dinners, all the things that we know him to be and who he's been. I I
Yeah,
can't
it's just
I
he's
can't
he's earned the right to be on the bench if he wants to be on the
if he wants
bench.
to be
Yeah,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
So
So
as long as he can still do it and think through
yeah,
those playoff series and schemes and stuff, uh yeah, I mean he can come back. So that was the last thing I wanted to bring up there on that point. And then we didn't mention, but I think last podcast we talked about Stephon Castle moving up in the Rookie of the Year standings. And there's news, Spurs Bros, is that Jared McCain, who was the front runner for the Rookie of the Year, he has gone down in an injury. I think he tore his MCL.
meniscus, I thought.
Yeah,
Lateral
yeah,
meniscus tear.
yeah, meniscus. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, meniscus. And so that kind of leaves Stephon as the front runner for Rookie of the Year. So keep it up, Stephon. We
Paulie
love you.
Market has him as a clear favorite to win Rookie of the Year right now. He's got a 38% chance. The next closest is Dalton Connect at 20%. And Paulie Market is a great, reliable source to predict this kind of stuff because people actually put money on it. So yeah, he's number one. So let's pray that he stays healthy, man. Because back to back Rookie of the Year, gonna have to look that up. Maybe
I
another
saw it's
Stu
like
stat.
over like 50 years
Yeah.
since
Wow.
attachment for back-to-back Rookie of the Year on the
Yeah.
same team. So that's pretty sick.
That's the last thing I wanted to point out. That was sort of a last little update for everybody. But is there anything else that y'all wanted to bring up? Reagan, I know you have something on here talking about the All-Star game format. Is that something you wanted to get into? Or is that
Yeah, bro. Today, NBA comes out. This isn't necessarily Spurs, but maybe it is because we expect Wemby to be at the All-Star game. But they announced this new format for the All-Star game. It's going to be a four-team, three-game tournament, including the Rising Stars Challenge tournament winner and teams of eight, first to 40. What did y'all see this?
I didn't
And
see
did
any of
y'all?
this.
Oh, okay.
Is
All
this
right, bro.
today?
So this afternoon it got released.
I I
Basically,
already saw an interview with KD. And yeah, KD's already talking mad shit about it. But go on, Reagan.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
Wow.
KD
no,
already
he
talked mad shit about it.
he said it was terrible. We should just go back to East versus West. He was like a terrible idea, awful, because it's still the voting will still be the same. It'll be 24 players, 12 from the West, 12 from the East. but the gimmick that the NBA is turning to this year, because the All-Star game has been so bad with everything that they try the last 5 years, the new thing is there's going to be they're going to break the teams into 3 teams of 8. The fourth team will be the winner of the Rising Stars Challenge. So they're going to bring those guys up, and then
Why?
they're gonna play bracket play. So probably, 2 of the All-Star teams will play against each other. One of the All-Star teams and the Rising Stars winner will play against
How
each
is
other.
that fair?
That's not
Yeah,
fair.
it's not. And then those will be to 40 points each game, and then the winners will play against each other in a final also to 40 points
Ugh.
to determine the winner. And then they're doing like per player payouts. I think the winning team gets like 150K a player. The next one gets like 100K. The next one gets 50, and then 25 for the ultimate losers or whatever. But I'm like, what the hell is going on? It is like, I don't know who came up with this or who thought it would be a good idea.
Right.
NBA, Adam Silver, I'm looking at you. Give us East versus West and put all the players on one conference in their home jerseys, in their whites, and put all the players in the other conference in their away jerseys or their colored jerseys and
Yes.
call it a day.
And then
Keep
make it
the
a
prize
massive,
pool.
yeah,
Yeah, massive
massive
prize
financial,
pool.
exactly, just to make sure that they play defense. Obviously, that's they're not getting to
This
the
is
root of the issue.
terrible.
What the problem with the All-Star game was just been the lack of defense at all. I mean, nobody wants to watch anymore, and nobody wants to get hurt, obviously. So, uh, it's not like Kobe versus LeBron or Kobe versus D Wade, how it used to be, super intense. Like nobody want. So
Like
I don't
you
know.
just said the two main points. And yeah, I was talking about another group chat today, and I told it like it all comes down to injury and money. In today's NBA, none of them want to play in this game because in today's NBA, the contracts are so freaking huge that no one wants to risk an injury on a stupid ass game. That's what it comes down to. They all want the title of I'm an all-star, but none of them want to play in the game. So I think why we keep seeing it switch up the past couple of years is they're just trying to reach for find something to get them to be competitive. We saw it a couple years ago where they played to like 40, but it was still, I guess, East versus West, or they did team captains for a couple of years. So they're just trying to
They've
keep
done,
switching it
yeah.
up to keep us interested. But I
This
just
is
don't know
like
what they'll ever find other than what y'all just said. Make it a massive prize pool to where each player gets maybe like a legit 1 or 2 mil for winning the game, and then that could because it's all the all stars, so they're all making a shit ton of money. So yeah, none of them are going to risk blowing a knee out in an all-star game playing hard to risk a $200 million contract or something crazy. That's just the facts.
Right.
yeah.
That opens up a whole can of worms. Yeah, about
I
the
mean,
injury thing.
the only other thing idea that I have, if you were to switch it back to the East versus West, is continue to do the charity money for it, increase the prize pool, and then maybe even tie the winning team from the conference, that like the MLB does it,
Yeah.
that squad gets home court in the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like if you can do those 3, maybe that works, maybe it doesn't. But at the end of the day, this is crap. Like this is such shit.
You know what I was thinking? Just thought that just came to mind is kind of like the NBA Cup. Like if your player from your team goes to the NBA, the All-Star game, if y'all as that team wins, then they get some money too. Like the whole team gets money
Mhm.
too, or so. So like everyone's like the whole
Yeah,
team is like
tie
kind of
it to
like
your
soup.
squad. Like,
Yeah,
hey, go
like
play for us, bro. Go play
right,
hard.
right. That's something that came to mind. But
Yeah.
how,
And then I
how
don't
else
know
can
what
you?
they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do with the other events, but since this is clearly gonna be a topic for the next couple of weeks until we get to February. The other thing that I want to see them do on the weekend in general is remove the skills challenge, because that's taken less seriously than anything else that happens the entire weekend, and
Yeah.
replace it with a one-on-one tournament. We
That's
see the
big time.
clips of the guys on the Team USA when they get in those gyms and they go, and we get those clips every 4 years of them playing ones. Bro, give me Kyrie and
Yeah,
KD and Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell. Give me those guys playing one-on-one for some massive prize in front of a live television audience to the whole world.
totally. Or
That's TV.
or like
That'd be
King of the
sick.
That's
Court.
entertainment.
King of the Court, like
King
three
of the
dribbles
court,
max.
exactly. Yeah,
Like they can't.
whatever
So
it
like
is.
yeah, so like JT can't like back down Kyrie or something, but like 3 dribbles max or 5 dribbles max or something. Like
Yeah.
that would be sick, dude. That would be the most easily the most watch event, even more than a dunk contest, I think.
Oh
For
yeah,
I
like
was
not
gonna
even
because
say
close.
the dunk contest is the only thing that is keeping All Star Weekend afloat.
And it's
Like,
still a
Yeah.
flop half
yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, dude, guys want that crown. They want that belt. They would love to be like, no,
Yeah.
I'm best one-on-one player. Oh yeah, that would be
Yeah.
so dope. If nothing else, then we can look ahead to this Thursday. We play against our rivals, the Hawks.
Our
Yes.
rivals.
Yeah, not really, but just because we want their pick and we want them to lose as much as possible. Um, yeah, we play against the Hawks on Thursday. I think they're in the Cup championship, are they not?
Nope.
Oh,
No, it's the
okay.
Bucks.
No, it's Buck.
Oh,
Bucks versus Thunder right
oh,
now as we
Thunder.
speak.
Okay, there you go. So I missed it. I messed up, but Hawks made a nice run at it. So I guess they'll be on some rest, and then we'll play against each other. Hopefully, win. Do y'all see us winning that game? Yes or no? I say yes.
Yes.
I'd say yes.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
I see Trey having 35 and 15, but we're gonna win.
Ooh, all
Yes.
right.
Agreed. Well, we got Castle.
Yeah.
True,
I
true.
don't know.
But I know what you're saying, Stu. It's always these guards
He always
who,
did it. He still always did it
Yeah.
on DJ anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
uh,
True. But
yeah.
hey, the Hawks are 14 and 13. We're 13 and 13. So if we win this game, that puts us half a game in front of them in the standings, and then the pick is officially better than what we would get, most likely. So yeah.
that's a
I
start.
I want to win this game big time. They're on 5 days rest. We're on what, 3 days rest, maybe? We're on 3 days rest. So everybody's gonna have spring in their legs and ready to get at it. It's in San Antonio. So let's hope the crowd gets live and loud and brings the energy. I want to kick their ass.
Same here, baby. That's good.
2 more games after that. We got Trailblazers at home and Sixers in Philly.
Oh,
So
come
we all we
on.
we said we're all going to beat the Hawks. We got the Trailblazers again coming to our house, and then the Sixers are in shambles, as we all know. So can we get 3-0 across the board?
I,
Uh-oh.
s-
Can I
I, s-
rally the troops?
I say yes, man. I say yeah. I mean, I think we need to beat the Hawks.
That's one.
Stu?
I'm going. I'm gonna go 2-1.
Oh,
Who do we lose to?
I think I'll agree with Stu. I think I don't know, lose at Philly, I guess. I know Philly hasn't been good, but they have Maxey and Paul George, right? I don't think, yeah, they're healthy. Embiid, I have no idea when he's going to play and when he's not going to play,
he's got
but
a face fracture now. He's out.
what?
He
That's
got
like the
elbowed in the
time
face the
he's
other night.
fractured his face.
He-
I don't know.
yeah, dude, he's unwell. Bro, 3-0. Come on, boys. This is the dregs of the league.
Yep.
This is bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
The Sixers are 8 and 16. The Blazers, who we just beat, are 8 and 18. We got some guys back.
Yep.
And then who's the third one? The Hawks
Yeah, Hawks.
are a game over 500. Come on. Come on. 3-0.
And if
3-0.
Joel did play, you'd think that Wemby wants some get back at Joel for basically busting his ass. I know Wemby had
Or
remember we talked
embarrassing him
about it?
last year.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
as a rookie. So
Yeah.
obviously Wemby had a
But
good game as well on offense, but Joel had his way. So
70.
oh my gosh. So there you go. We will see. We're good. Either way,
3-0.
we should be coming back with a winning record
Yep.
from our last 3 games. So
Yep.
and then we got Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to you all. We play against the Knicks. If we're looking ahead further than that, right? So
So
Stu, you good?
3-0.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So
All right.
2-2 then. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Good stuff, boys. All right. Well, if all we want
right.
for Christmas is 3-0 or 4-0, I guess, if we're
Yeah.
playing the Knicks. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
One more show before Christmas, but
Yeah.
until then, we'll see you guys. Hopefully we're coming back with a winning record. And from the Spurs Bros, go Spurs, go.